Welcome to BPTV and another segment of Handy Andy. And today's segment, we actually are coming back to where our roots are. We're back at our hardware store. So we're back at EV True Value Hardware here on Library Road in Bethel Park. This is where it all started, and we thought it'd be nice, since we're talking a lot about lawn and garden and there'd be a lot of products to cart around, I thought why not just do the segment at the store itself. So welcome to the hardware store today. And what we're actually going to be talking about, we're going to be talking about the organic way to take care of your yard care products. Everyone is familiar with the Scott's programs and the Green Thumb programs and the programs of taking fertilizers on and doing that great marketing concept of doing 4 steps. And the idea with the 4 steps is to get you to buy 4 bags of fertilizer. When you're feeding chemically in your yard itself, what it does is it continuously feeds the grass. So you have step 1, you're feeding the grass, you got to do step 2, you got to do step 3, you got to do step 4. And if you're not constantly doing those steps, then the nutritional value of feeding the grass just drops back off again. So what we're going to be showing you today is a better way, a different way of taking care of those yard care products. And those products are going to enrich the soils. If you have healthy soil, you have a healthy yard. So once you reach the point that your soil is extremely healthy, then you don't have to use the chemicals to keep the grass green time and time again. Healthy soil, healthy yard. The healthier the yard, the thicker the grass. Weeds will not grow in thick grass. Dandelions aren't going to grow in thick grass. Moss is not going to grow in thick grass. You're going to get all the benefits of having a healthy soil, so you don't need to constantly be buying the chemical-based products to feed the grass itself. So what we're going to start with, the product called Magical. And Magical, if you can only do one thing every year to your yard, this is the product for you. In southwest Pennsylvania here, we do have very poor soil. We have very low pH and we have a very heavy clay-based soil here in southwest Pennsylvania. And what Magical does, Magical will raise the pH. And a lot of people say, well, when raising pH, let me just use a bag of lime. Bag of lime is cheaper. Absolutely it is. But one bag, 50-pound bag of lime will only treat 1,000 square feet. And that bag of lime, it would take 6 to 8 months to raise the pH level of your yard even 1 point. Most of the pH level around us is in a 3 to 4 category. Ideally, you want to be 6.2 to 7 in your pH level for a healthy green yard itself. What Magical is going to do, this one bag will cover 5,000 square feet, so it's actually less expensive in lime, but even more importantly, this bag of Magical is going to raise the pH 1 to 2 points in a matter of 1 to 2 weeks. So it's going to drastically increase the pH to make your yard a lot happier. So if you cannot do anything else, that's probably your #1 most important thing around here, is to keep the pH level balanced with your yard itself. And that's a product that you could actually do twice a year. You can do it in spring, you could do it in fall itself, whatever you need to get that pH level raised. And we have pH meters here that you can borrow to test your own, or there's pH kits that you can buy to test your own soil itself. Knowing what that pH level is, that's going to be a critical component into taking care of your yard itself. And with this type of product, you can't put on too much, so there's not the fear like there are with weed and feeds and other chemicals that you can burn the yard. When you're going organic, it's impossible to burn the grass itself because it's organic based compounds. The next product is what we call Love Your Soil. And what Love Your Soil is going to do, Love Your Soil is going to take care of the clay of your soil itself. This has some calcium in it, it has some gypsum in it, and it has some iron in it. And what it's going to do, it's going to turn that soil into topsoil. On a little chart that they made for us here, this is what a lot of the yards look like around here. It's just a hump of clay. And what it'll do is, after a time of using the Love Your Soil, it's going to turn that into topsoil. And it does it actually rather quickly. I mean, this could be a year's time of using this twice a year, and you're going to have good topsoil with it. And you can continue to maintain your soil by using the Love Your Soil and your Magi-Cal once or twice a year. Once you reach that point, it's going to maintain that. And the Magi-Cal itself, just showing that little chart I was talking about, getting you into that 6.2 to 7%. I mean, most of our yards are going to be in that 3 to 4. And when you have the high acidity, that's when you're going to get all the moss. When you have your 4%, 5% acidity, that's where your weeds are going to grow. That's where your dandelions are going to love. So if you want to prevent dandelions, you want to prevent moss, you want to prevent those kind of inconveniences in your yard, that's where you go to the Magi-Cal and your Love Your Soil on it. So that's the basis of the organic. And then along with that, there's other organic products that we could be using. You would have products like just a regular organic lawn food. So if you want to keep going organic, you could put a lawn food down that is going to feed the grass, but also help feed the soils itself. So if you're worried about the environment, you're worried about the pets, you're worried about your kids, and you just don't want to use the chemicals, but you want a little bit extra boost to the grass, not just using the Magi-Cal and the Love Your Soil type of products, that's when you can get into the organic lawn foods. And on the same basis of it, there's weed preventers that are organic. This is a corn gluten. This is a byproduct of corn when you're just growing corn. And what they found with corn and the corn gluten product is corn gluten actually prevents weeds. This is in a granular form. You either can put it on by your hand or you can put it on with a spreader. And this for 4 to 6 months will prevent weeds from germinating, but it also prevents seeds from germinating. So if you put this in your flower beds, in your vegetable gardens, in your yard, anything like that, before the weeds are growing, this will prevent the weeds from ever coming up. So it prevents the seeds from ever germinating. As you put this product down, it creates a little gaseous layer on the soil that it will not let seeds germinate itself. So in saying that, if you're planting seeds, whether you're planting grass or planting your seeds in a garden, you do not want to use this product till actually they have started growing and are about an inch up, and then you could put it on, and then it's going to help it'll prevent the weeds from ever coming up. So that's pretty much your basis of organics. With organics itself, you can still use the chemical-based products at the same time you're using organics. A lot of people, they'll think about going organic and they start into organic program and they go knee deep into it and they see absolutely no results in like 6 months or something. Organic is something you have to work yourself into the yard itself. And it takes a good 1.5 to 2 years to totally convert to an organic way of doing your yard work instead of a chemical. So while you're doing the organic, there's absolutely no reason you can't be using chemical fertilizers at the same time you're using organics. And then once you get your yard to be the pristine green envy of the neighbors, then you could quit using the chemicals and just keep using the organics. But on the same time, if you wish and you have specific dilemmas that you want to use a chemical on, there's no reason why you can't. And this time of year in the spring, probably the most common product in the chemical base is going to be your crabgrass preventing type of products. A lot of people hate the crabgrass on it. Crabgrass is a product, an item that you can kill, you can prevent. It's almost impossible to kill. So crabgrass is something that is very easy to prevent, and that's when they use the pre-emergent. So this product is a fertilizer, a chemical-based fertilizer with the crabgrass preventer. So it's very common to do that in April, the early part of the year, because you have to get it put on before the crabgrass starts germinating. So that's why it's a spring type of item. So if you're going organic and fixing the soils and putting those on, you can still put a crabgrass preventer on until your grass is so thick that it chokes out crabgrass and prevents crabgrass and so forth from germinating. Also, you get into your weed and feed types products, whether it's the Scott's, whether it's the Jonathan Green, whether it's any of the different weed and feeds. A weed and feed is a fertilizer product, but it is a weed killer. It is not a preventer. So putting a weed and feed on before weeds are actually up is a total waste of your money. Most of your weed and feeds are done in mid-May when the dandelions are in full bloom. You wake up one morning and you see 10,000 dandelions out in your yard. That's the time that you really want to be using a weed and feed. If you go outside today and you see 1 or 2 dandelions, a lot of people run out, buy a bag of weed and feed, and yes, that'll kill those 1 or 2 dandelions, but it does absolutely nothing for all the dandelions that are going to come out when it warms up come May itself. So do yourself a favor, don't use any of the weed and feed products until such time as you have a yard full of dandelions or you have a yard full of weeds itself that you want to take care of. Now, a couple specialty products that people ask me about all the time is they say they get into moss. So we get into a moss control type of product. Now, moss control products, they do a good job if you have the moss, but one thing you got to realize, I hate to see people wasting their money. Yes, this will kill moss. You don't have to kill it this way. Moss is just a surface dwelling substance, a fungicide that grows in unhealthy soil. So if you get your soil healthy, you will never ever have moss again. And moss, to clean moss out of the yard, it's just a simple matter of taking a rake, raking it off and throwing it out. There are no heavy roots to moss. So instead of taking a chemical to kill that spot, just do it the easy way. Just rake it off, throw it out, but then get into your healthy soil products like the Magical and the Love Your Soil. Moss will not grow in pH soil that is above 6. So if you have moss, it's because your pH is actually in the 2 to 3 category, meaning you have a very, very low pH level in your yard. So if you don't want moss, put some Magical down and it's going to raise the pH of the soil and the moss will never come back. And then you get into insects. Insects, you have grubs, you have all those type of insects. Once again, insects love unhealthy yards. You get healthy yards, you won't see as many insects. But if you have grubs, you have the chinch bugs, you have all those different insects on it, you can use the different insecticides, whether it's Jonathan Green, whether it's Scott's, whether it's any of those. These are going to kill the grubs, kill the insects itself. What you have to realize is most of your grub controls, it takes about a week for them to kill the insects and the bugs. So if you're prone to getting them, it's something that you could put on in April and May and prevent yourself from getting the insects throughout the season itself. There are some 24-hour kill ones out there, but most of them take a while for them to work. Now that gives you the chemicals, that gives you the organic way. Let's talk a little bit about grass seed. Grass seed's a big part of everyone's yard itself, and there's a multitude of different type of grass seeds out there. Jonathan Green makes some of the best grass seeds. Of course, there's Green's Thumb. Of course, there's Scott's. Let me show you a couple things though. You know, whether it's Scott's or any of these Paddingtons or any of these kind of easy seeding type of components, what you have to realize you're buying. This jug here being about 10 bucks, and it only covers 85 square feet for a 4-pound container of seed. So you're spending 10 bucks and you're getting only 85 square feet of it. You get a bag of better grass seed, like a Black Beauty type of seed, Fall and Shade seed, any of it. You're buying here 4 pounds of grass seed for about 10 bucks that is covering 12 to 1,500 square feet. So these little shaker cans that are marketing and everybody loves, you're paying for a lot of wood, you're paying for a lot of mulch, you're paying for a lot of newspaper that's ground up. You have very, 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 very little seed in any of these containers. So why waste your money with it? If you want grass seed, look at the label, read the bags, talk to the sales associates and learn what makes a good seed and what makes a bad seed on it. The best seed there is in the market that I know of is this Black Beauty Ultra. This Black Beauty Ultra, this has some a little bit of rye. It's mainly a fescue, but there's also some bluegrass in here. This seed itself, it's slow growing. This takes about 2 weeks before it germinates, but after 2 years, the roots of this grass seed are 4 to 6 feet deep. Not inches, that's feet. Most of your grass seeds you buy, you know, they're only going to be about 3 to 4 inches deep. and that's normal for grass seed. But when you think about it, if a grass seed is going to go 4 to 6 feet deep, then it's going to be drought resistant, it's going to be bug resistant, it's going to be resistant to all those normal problems that grass seed have. So if you learn the difference on the type of grass seed, why not get the best? Because the work is the hard part, preparing the soils, preparing the yard, watering it, getting it to grow. So why do you want to go cheap on your seed and then have it die or only come up once and never come back again? Know the differences on the seed and buy the better seed. But the seed, the best, the Jonathan Green Black Beauty Ultra, that is the best seed I have ever found. It's well worth a little bit extra money when you know what it does, and you'd be happy with it. So follow the steps. I like the organic, the Magical, Love Your Lawn, some organic fertilizer, maybe some corn gluten. Get your yard healthy while you're waiting for it to be healthy. If you have to still use the chemicals on it, the crabgrass preventer, a weed and feed, it's okay to mix them. It's okay until you get that yard done. But after a couple years of doing it the right way, you're going to be really, really happy with your yard itself. And like I joke, all your neighbors will be green with envy because your yard's the greenest yard in the neighborhood. So appreciate you watching this segment of Handy Andy. Stay tuned for more in our series on BPTV. Thank you.